how to Grand Master instructor.
Thank you. About third and second degree. Welcome and welcome at home. Let's warm up a little bit.
What's going to happen for graduation next Friday?
We haven't decided that yet. Today was our, let's figure out all the tests. And I'll go ahead and tell you that for all the tests, there was only 4 or 5 students that aren't going to be here for the test. So we had different options for them. And so I've contacted each of them and I'm having them send, I said, go ahead and send your video now for your pre-test. And then that'll give the instructors a time to give you advice or whatever. So that's where we're at. Probably Monday or Tuesday we'll discuss it. Switch. I'm inclined to try to have it, but on all the forms it asks them if they're going to attend graduation or not. Because, and then based on that, we can decide if we're going to have it or not. So, I don't know. There's enough room, even at 25% occupancy, that's 35 people. We wouldn't even have that in the tent, maybe 20 people. Everyone could easily be spaced apart. The event's short. I'm only near them for a person for a second. And anyways, I don't know. Sis, what do you think?
Huh?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I just need to know if I should make other plans for that Friday or not.
Oh, I'll try to let everyone know as soon as possible. And I think why not try to find a safe way to do it so that our first time doing it is definitely going to be the smallest, right? And then the next time could get bigger and bigger, and we'll have to have at least a good number of students already practiced at it until this COVID thing's over, you know. Switch. All right, and forward. Okay, switch. Oh, but actually, I don't know what the rule is for gatherings of more than 10. Is that allowed yet?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, there's some restaurants where there's definitely.
Well, I know we're at where we can let up to 10 people sit at the same table.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Okay, yeah, and I think, but they're not really a party of 10. They're all different groups coming together, yeah. Yeah, if we do it, I just want to make sure it's like safe, and again, I think just like class attendance, it's like, I don't have to restrict it. Everyone's self-restricting in this community. Like, there's not, remember when we started class and like, oh, we'll have to limit it to 4, I'm like, I don't have to limit it because everyone's limited already. So I think if we did it, it would probably be very small anyways. Now we leave the door open, but it just keeps the fresh air going. We have a really good system. We'll see. Not a decision for today. Chanzijing.
1
Switch. But one neat thing about moving, I just realized, is in the old days, if you moved, the yellow pages would have the wrong address in it for years because people would use the old books for, remember you had the stack, yellow pages? Here, I just go to Google and update my profile, and it's like I was always someplace else.
Change your webpage.
Yeah, just change the address on every web page. I gotta do a new map page. Oh my gosh, my list is growing. Oh, that's good. Good in the hips. All right. Yeah, let's do the tendon lengthening. Okay, that feels good. All right, let's do commencement one. One more. All right. And the yin yang balancing. Couple more. Cool. Push up. All right. We'll run the form one time. And pretty sure we got the sequence. Let's see if we can do it again.
Sure.
Of course, I said we, I mean me. See if I got the sequence. and a skip. Comments, questions, suggestions?
I do have a question.
Oh, good. What is it?
So, getting this jump seems just
After the elbow, when you go like this?
yeah.
Oh, wait, which one did you
No,
get?
it's
Early.
before that one. It's in the beginning.
That's after oblique?
After here.
So I do all these. No, yeah, it's up the level because it's the step. I just feel weird coming out of that
Okay.
instead.
You want to do that one too? Or you think you just misinterpret her?
Are we not talking about the same thing?
No, she showed a different part.
Are you doing the one towards the end?
No,
No,
beginning.
it's the beginning. So it's this one. And I always feel like
Yeah,
these
that's the same one.
Oh, it just doesn't start in Oh, I see what you're saying. She's thinking specifically like 3 beats after that. Yeah, that's
Right.
fine. Okay, but it's good to start there. So you're talking about start with dragging on the ground. Okay, so at home you can try it too. Dragging on the ground, come in. Here's what you're talking about, right?
No.
no.
Oh, then what?
From here?
Oh, you know what? I thought you were doing a high dragging on the ground. That's a lean with back.
Right.
Okay, so from lean with back. Lean with back. You take a step. Boom, boom. Slant the line with fists, or like one of the kung fu moves. Then we do it again. Step, step. Here. We chop, we slice in. We circle and step. Elbow. Then we cross behind and throw the hands up. And then jump. And the hands are just, I have to go fast to hear what the hands do. But you don't even get to do anything. So you immediately do this. So, walk through that again. At home, walk through it with us, Lean the back. Step. Boom. Step. Boom, boom. Slice in, immediately step. Elbow. Reach up, and then, just like this, because you're immediately just pulling back, crossing. Yeah? Okay, try it once or twice, same thing at home, try it once or twice just to make sure you got it. Yep, try it, I'll be right back.
that whole section's done pretty fast, I take it.
Yes.
I think what's messing with me is I'm slowing it down because we're learning it, and so doing those jumps around and everything, I just feel off balance. And like, moving
Yeah,
stuff.
and I went a little faster because it's just YouTube today, and you know the form, and I usually go a little slower for the third person that attends, and that's fine. But I was trying to, when I led it that first time, go, hey, this is the speed. Let's try to get the pace up on some of them, without like getting trapped in the rushing through the whole routine, because it's not all meant to be done fast, and then you hear me going to my lecture about what is yin yang and Chen Tai Chi.
Hard and soft.
Hard and soft,
Fast and slow.
fast and slow,
High and
fast
low.
and slow. Where the Erlus, both Erlus, Pao Chui, which is Lao Jia Yilu is called Pao Chui, and this are mostly fast on that. So on the like the yin and yang. This is the yin. No, sorry. This is the yang of the yin and yang forms. Where the other one, like Lao Jia or Xinjia, they have some fast but mostly slow. This has mostly fast and some slow.
Okay, I think I just need to trust. Because
Yeah.
my body kind of knows when it should pick up. But I just
Yeah, and on that one specific part that we just covered, and you know Kung Fu, it's like southern legs. You know, you're here, you're in the southern legs, and you're like, and you're jumping, right? Or you're on the other side, and you come around, and now you're on the other side, and you're like, it's like when you land and you jump back. It's more like that. So it's less like the first of the southern legs, and more like coming back on the second one, because you're like twist. So this kind of feels like I'm coming back from the second one, as opposed to doing the first one. All right, another question?
After the hands for that whip, after the single whip.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is a good one. I will face you for this one instead, because I know that you can't really see it. So also I never faced the camera for this one. So what do the hands do for after single whip? So say get into single whip. I'm in the single whip. I have this. Right hand is up, left hand is down, like I'm holding a bar. But I'm going this way. So I'm here and I'm like, see that? You see that? Where I'm not trying to make a big circle, but I'm like here.
Wait, now I'm totally done.
Oh, because you also that one moment, the pole was blocking my view. Not a problem in the new school. Okay, I will face the other way for your benefit. So you're here, right, and you're pulling this way. Yeah, I keep pulling.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
And then I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, it was just that first one.
Okay.
So here.
Yeah, give that a try too. I know it's
Here.
review if you're at home, just hang in there with us.
Here.
We're gonna.
Now that's fine.
Okay, I'll
You
do
did
it
again?
again. So the thing is, you can't see my hands, and so now that
Here.
yes, and then it's gonna go boom boom, and then it's gonna go. I'm a mirror to you. No, I'm a mirror.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Second one's good.
Yeah.
First one you still have to calm down.
Okay.
But yeah, that the seat of it's in there. It look good. Both of you. You're doing the hips, you're doing the jumps, you're doing the timing right. So we're just picking out the details. It's good enough. No. Yeah, I mean there's more dynamic in the hips and stuff, but the hands are correct. Yeah. It's good to get good at it. Another thing about the new location is it already is ice cold AC, but the AC unit is the same age as the Kung Fu School being in this location. It's 24 years old, and so the landlord's putting a brand new one in on Monday, like a brand new one. And it's actually a 5-ton as opposed to a 4-ton, so it'll really, probably, we could keep this school at 60 degrees if we wanted to. I'm just kidding, but I like it cold. I say I like it, I'm like, well, I'll leave it again, but I'm like, it's hot in here. And you know, I've had y'all lead it a bunch, and so you're off the hook today. Okay, let me just grab a correction from some random place in the form. Well, I mean, I can do the opening again, and you requested the opening anyways. So when you really move from your center, your arms really become really light, okay? And it really does resemble kind of like you're in the pool, in the water, and you're like, and it's like your hands are following. Your hands aren't moving from your shoulders, making splashes. Your center moves, and the feeling in your body, and the hips, and the doing your thing. And not just doing it randomly, like you can feel the fudging and you can explode and we could get on the bags and you go like, and you're like, oh yeah, that's how to do it. So here we are at the beginning of the form, and I'm facing the camera so you can see some of this stuff. And we take our little step, and then already we sink, but we connect with our center. We allow the hands to come up. And then we feel our sinking a little bit internally, and the hands are led down. And they didn't get to end, they turn. But when they turn, you know, feel that thing that you see Chen Bing do is that he doesn't do this. He starts to turn, it's like a turn and sink here, which redirects the hands here. And then a turn and sink here, which moves it over here. And then there's that, he knows he's lined up, you know you're lined up, you go that way, and you take as big step as you can. And then still, think of your right hip, left hip, right hip, left hip. Shift, and then elbow, fold in, and you feel left hip, right hip, center. Up and down. When it does here, it bounces up to your left a little bit because you're turning to your left to then turn to your right. So you're like, boom, boom. But then the hips have this turn. So I went here. Watch my hips turn. You know, and that might be a little exaggerated, but also, you know, if we stand all day or sit all day, same issue. These muscles are not really being used, or I'm sorry, they may be being used, but it's just like they're tensing in place. You're not getting to stretch all those coming in and out. That helps loosen your lower back and hips and sacrum, right? So let's do that again, and then I'll ask you to practice it for a few minutes. Think about it. Think about it for all your forms, and then we can transition to doing fan. So with me again, you know it well enough that hopefully facing you doesn't twist you up, all right? So we sink, we step, sink a little bit, hands come up. And you're already connecting, hip, like you gotta feel the hips, and you feel it drop. And then you turn in the hips, you feel that turn, because that's what it kind of feels like you're pulling down to the left, but you end up coming up. And then it feels like you're gonna pull down to the right, but you're not, you're just throwing horizontal. And now you're like, if you focus here and here, you'll feel the root, and then you'll feel the right time to shift. And then pick up the knee quickly and step. Feel hip. Feel the hip. While I'm not too close to the camera. We come up. Tap. It bounces up to your left shoulder, not all the way. Then it swings out to the lower right. Continues to circle in the hip and the hips, and the shoulders get to be relaxed. And The hips are doing all of that. And that's one of the things that gets that look, especially if you go fat, you can make that faster. But if you try to move your arms like this fast and you're not really moving from your center, the more you move from your center, the more you tighten your root, the more rooted you become if you get those guys turning. Right? And getting a sense to see if they're level is a tough one. You know, unless you truly have one leg longer than the other. Is try to get the hips level so that when you think you've stepped here, you're not like with the left, I'm exaggerating now, with the left hip higher or the right hip higher. All right, practice a few minutes and then we'll switch over to fan. You never heard shift, legs, waist, turn, turn. Yeah, hip turn. Yeah. It makes me remind you of competition. How am I going to judge your form? I'm not your teacher. So I got to judge it on using the waist, you know, appearing rooted, using very little strength, fluidity, you know. Oh yeah, it's okay. When you focus on improving, you sometimes forget, what move am I on? Yeah. Let's just try it one more time and then we'll grab our fan.
Sure.
It's looking good. I'm very proud of you guys. It looks so good. Well, you know, it's like private lessons, right? Private lessons. Oh, you're practicing good. Hopefully you're practicing at home already too. happy to lead it as many times as you want. It's only 24 moves. And if I get hot during practice,
The very, very beginning, the first little turn, I always confuse before we actually go into it.
oh, okay, cool. So I'm gonna face, here we go again. Yeah, so I'm gonna face towards the camera. So this one's a little different on the opening than the Erlu, but because they're similar, it kind of messes with us. So we take our step laterally, and we bend our knees a little bit. And then the hands come up, but they don't come up higher than shoulder height, they stay here. Also, you couldn't really with this without it kind of being like the shrugging your shoulders. So you come up to here, and anyways, it comes up, and then now the knees bend and they go down. Then there's this slow turn, because it's like you're doing like this. It's like you're doing this, but not quite. It happens a little quicker, so it doesn't really go that far. But it's like that motion, and then you sink, and then you're all the way over here. Then it turns, and you're there. Coincidentally, hips. Turning the hips. So if I'm here and I'm taking my step, then it's the hips that sink. It's the hips that get leveraged. It's the hips that sink some more. It's the hips through the legs coming up with a little turn to the left, and then turning the hips to the right and going down, and turning to the left and coming up. Yeah, and then now it should be feeling soft in your shoulders. When you turn, it's just right there and opens. And the more you control it from here, the lighter your shoulders. Because even if you do this, well, it's more like holding something in one hand that's heavy. And if you could just hold in the same heaviness in the other hand, you'd be like, oh, I got it. But because it's heavy on this one, it's pulling you off, right? So these aren't that heavy, but if I'm able to keep aligned in my Tai Chi, then this doesn't feel like I'm pulling in my arms. This feels like I'm doing my waist, and my waist, I feel it here, and I feel the torque through my legs. And then that can come up. Here I am again. Here we are, and we settle, and then we raise, but then also turn. There's the hips, and then here's the hips, and then the hips, as the hips turn, and then the hips coming up. Exaggerations going on here. Here, no hips. Yeah, there's that little roll. Hips turning, hips circling. Here, hips, sinking with the hips and shifting. And hips turning, hips again, and hips, 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 and then up in the air. Hips turning, and hips turning, hips, circle, and hips, and hips. hips, 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 hips. Now, some of the diagonals that almost got me on that one. Facing the camera. All right. Anything come up on that that's still, you're like,
I know it all needs polish, so.
okay. I know when we did it last time as a correction. Let's see if there's another one.
I have a little one,
Sure.
and I don't know why I can't get it. I have like a mental block, but after here, I close.
That left hand, you're forgetting it, that's all.
I know. I don't know.
Wait. Well, I don't know. So some of the shoulder strike, white cream for wings. All right. So we come through. We come through, and it closes.
Right.
And then when we circle, and then it opens. So right here, you just go like this, and then you go like this. You dip and whip it back.
Okay. So you're closing out here.
Well, no, look, I'll do it towards the camera. You come in,
Right.
and then you circle the hands out,
Right.
and then you went,
Right.
then you close here.
So you are closing. You close up there. Okay.
It's more like closing this way. Yep, that's it. Okay, and then, sorry, I'll do it from the top again. From my shoulders, my arms, my chest perspective, it's like doing that.
Uh-huh.
But because my chest is facing that corner, yeah, so it's in front of you when you do it. So I'll do it this way. And then it goes like this and closes. Then it circles and the hand supports it. But it dips and then
About here.
foot circle. Yep. And then turn the right toe out. Step the left foot up. Make a clockwise circle. Turn the palm out. The fan palm out. And drop and come out. Yep. Try it at home. Try it here.
1, 2,
Clockwise circle, dip into the right.
4. Okay.
Yep. Yep. That's it. Hip, 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 hooray. Excellent. Okay. Well, on this one, how about we go ahead and lead it? I'll get behind the camera and I'll just watch, and then I'll customize another correction.
Sure.
You guys follow Mr. Haley? Good. Good job, good. Okay, there was a part at the beginning, I just randomly picking one because this one had some angles on it, so I guess it's not that random. This one had angles where, if you want to come back from the other side, you're fine, you can then again. Yeah, we have a little bit of time left, so what I'm referring to is the part, let me see if I can get the part that, I have to go from the top. So let's try it from the top, and then when I get to that part, I'll talk about it.
Sure.
So if you're at home with me, go ahead and do the same thing. Start from the top, we're just doing the front part of the form. Take a step, sink a little, hands come up, everything goes down. We use our weights, pressuring. Wait to pass it off. Right when you begin to turn, just let the arm fold in. Right, just when you begin to turn. So, yeah, we shift. We turn back, pick up the foot, this part's fine, turn the hips, and go to the upper Buddha stance, here, here's fine, here's fine, here's fine, here is the part. So it ended up, okay, why did it do it? So when we do the first one of these, we turn more and whip back. And when we do this one, we go down and whip up. Right? So there's no going to the back with it. It's right here by your knee coming up. Yeah. And then, yeah. Okay. Exaggerating a little bit, just put my hip into it. But, okay, so we were here, right? Going like this. And then we turn, and then right. You remember learning the saber? And we always pointed out when you turn around, you change when you block the view.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So what we're doing here is kind of the same thing. I go here, but it's kind of like right when I'm in the middle of the move. I guess you could say it's not like I really blocked the view on this one, but the blocking of the view on that one from the Yang style saber is in the midpoint of the movement. So it's kind of like there's some sort of dynamic of a pendulum swing. There's the apex, and then, or the middle. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, you're here, you turn, so like maybe like right when it's in front of your chest, it changes. So you're like, wait a minute, how do you, what did it do? Like there's that one moment where it changes, and your opponent doesn't notice. But it goes down and then pops up. And when you had done it earlier, you kind of went back, that's what brought it in. A little bit. All right. Then, yeah, we got that, and that's fine. And you did good on that, and all the rest of it's good, and you even caught it. So, bravo. All right, we're right at the class transition. Do you want to do it one more time together, or just go home?
One more time.
One more time together. All right. Again. Wait a minute. I didn't pass it off. It's already there. Don't follow me on this round. I'm still thinking about the new school. We honor the masters who came before us and seek to follow their examples.
About a Grand Master.
Thank you. Bow to third and second degree black sash, advanced black sash class. Good job.